Hey guys, we got Mark and Jacob here. We're with Yuri from Cindicator. Cindicator is a different type of coin than really anything else on the market, and it's definitely different than ones that we normally talk about. They are in the space of prediction markets, and so they found a way to use blockchain technology to help predict events and maybe even kind of predict the future. So there's, it's a really good use case for blockchain technology, even though it's a lot different than what we normally look at or talk about. They've been on CoinMarketCap since October of last year. Currently, they're ranked 103 on the list with about $165 million market cap. You can find them on Binance, GoPax, and HitBC. And today we have Yuri. He's the CTO and the co-founder of Cindicator. So Yuri, welcome. Thanks for coming on. We're really happy to have you, and we love the project. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. So we can see from your background, you're into like neuroscience. You've been kind of maybe coding since 10 years old, maybe a little child prodigy. Tell us about your background and how you got into Cindicator and this hybrid intelligence.
He's muted, Mark.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Yeah. I'm do tech projects, and mostly I can say for 10 years I did in startups. Mostly they were related to neuroscience, data science, and I've spent lots of time working with neurophysiologists and data scientists researching the phenomenon of mind, mostly collective mind. So this is my main area of interest for many years.
Good. So I see, Cindicator is in the prediction market, and how exactly does blockchain or decentralized technology help with that?
So that's we use the blockchain to get the network effects of the decentralized collective of humans. So the way how we gather the indicators, the predictions from a huge crowd of financial analysts is decentralized, and this is the main approach that we started, how we started researching the phenomenon of wisdom of the crowds. The way the wisdom of the crowd could be the more effective is when the crowd is as decentralized as possible. So the more people are distributed, the more differences they have in their backgrounds, the more different circumstances, and that is the main decentralization factor in our technology. And this is more in the area of social technology, where people are becoming the decentralized existence and a decentralized organism. And blockchain helps us here. We're just using the distributed ledger technologies to run this community, as these people are placed in 160 countries, I can say all over the globe, and we build internal economics of our ecosystem, and the blockchain helps us to build this internal economy and tokenized economy, which would be pretty I cannot say that impossible, but pretty complex and pretty hard using current monetary systems, because we calculate their answers. They have different points that they earn depending on their accuracy, and by the end of each month they get rewards automatically. So we run scripts that run automatically with those users, and they send necessary amounts of rewards, and this is one part of the internal economy, which is run pretty effectively using the blockchain. And this is the use case where we can create internal economy. And another part is how we provide access to the products. we have this products in the outcome when the artificial intelligence enhances the predictions of those financial analysts, and the indicators are accessible to our token holders. So they are got utilized by token holders, and this creates only internal economy.
Hey
After that,
Yuri, as far as I get the human part. I've read your white paper. I've kind of read everything about Cindicator before we made a large investment into your company. It's a fascinating project. I think it's probably one of the most unique use cases on the blockchain, and I think you probably have the biggest utility of the token that I've seen anywhere in the industry, which was what fascinates me, because utility is the most important thing for this industry. What are people going to use it? So my question is, can you explain a little bit more about your AI? Because I feel like it kind of gets glossed over a lot, but I'd like to kind of learn a little bit more about the algorithm. And I apologize for you guys listening at home. I like to get into this technical stuff just a little bit. If you want to just kind of give me a little overview brief or a summary on how it works, because I'm fascinated with a hybrid model that you guys came up with, and I'd like to dig into kind of how you came up with that. But I'd just kind of like to hear just a few touch points on what kind of AI you're using, just kind of like the model that it uses, as far as like people are answering questions and then it goes into this machine learning algorithm. Kind of explain that a little bit to some of our viewers.
Yes, sure. So the AI that we use is evolving, and I can say that it is evolving pretty fast. I will tell how things are going right now. Like our last update, major update was in March of this year. We added the third layer of learning. Then that was the first neural network in the pipeline of learning. So now we have three layers of learning, and that's where I can say that we have switched to deep learning. So the layers are like on the bottom is the layer of humans. So we have about hundreds of thousands of humans, of those financial analysts. They are, and their neural network and their brains is the lowest layer of learning. So they are learning the market, they gain skills, and we work with that, creating the gamification mechanics. And this is not the artificial intelligence in its classical understanding of this word. But still, this is a learning layer. And we call them like predictors, the source of predictions. They create data points, and the data sets that we gather is consisting from their predictions. This is the experience that we collect for the third year, and this is the experience that we're learning our models. The second layer is about 20 linear statistical models that are learning the accuracy of each of these human beings. They are quite different. Some of them are working pretty straightforward, like the model learns how accurate this exact person was in these types of questions. For example, how good this one was predicting questions about Bitcoin, or how good this one predicted questions about altcoins. So they create different sections of different types of questions, and based on the history of the accuracy of one person, they dynamically change the weight of trust to this person in this area. The others linear models in this second layer, they have more complex approach. Like for example, some people, they have a tendency to have patterns in their mistakes, in the errors that they have, and some people tend to be similar to each other, and there are some kind of clusters of humans that tend to make similar mistakes in their vision of the market. And the statistics see that this couple of thousands of people, they used to make common mistakes, and they mistake, like for example, they always set a bit higher. They're always a bit more optimistic about this, or they're more pessimistic about that. So this model is gathering them into clusters. It sets the average from these clusters and makes the necessary correction to the average. And there are also Bayesian models and linear regressions and other pretty basic and well-known linear models that are used in all the machine learning algorithms. And so at this moment, we have about 20 kinds of these types of models in the second layer. And the third layer, which is pretty new in our pipeline, and this is the neural network, which is run on top of these 20 models. And it looks for the non-linear correlations and non-linear connections between these models. So it's learning based on these predictions of the second layer and gets the indicators out of them. So that's how it works now at this moment.
So how would that show up as an indicator, I guess? Like, because I mean, my background is neuroscience as well. And so nonlinear thinking is something I'm obsessed with. I'm trying to train my daughter in nonlinear thinking and to just always extrapolate and connect and stuff like that. How would that show up as an indicator, like in your bot? Like, is it going to say like, because Bitcoin is X, we can expect this to be Y? Like, is that kind of how it'll show up like later on as it gathers more data and kind of evolves?
So at this moment, it shows up the same way like we ask the questions. So we have two types of questions. I can say three types of questions. Like we call them binary questions, range questions, and rank questions. Like in the way we ask them, for the binary questions, the outcome is the probability of the event. So that's the way the form of the answer we get is the same form we get answers from humans. So that's the common language and common to understand.
Okay, thank you so much for touching on that. I'm sure that our viewers will be very happy to kind of understand that a little bit more.
Yeah, regarding those questions, how do you choose which questions to do? So I see it's mostly financial. I know you want to get into other types of stuff, but other types of prediction models. But I've seen some of them, I think you pose to the community, like what kind of questions do you want to talk about? Is there some algorithm that picks which questions to do, or is it somebody kind of manually doing that?
Yeah, so we are aiming to build as decentralized model as we can, and we are working on moving most of our processes from centralized manual mode that we have to decentralized. So we're moving these processes to community. Still, we have internal department of analysts. There are about 7 people that are working internally in team of Cindicator. They have some kind of content plan for the next months with types of questions and with amounts of different types of questions. And they just make brainstorming sessions internally and decide which questions to ask today, tomorrow, by the end of the week. And I can say that this is manual process that has some already has some kind of automation, but this is the plan. So we have to ask about this and that, these portions of questions. And we started to move these processes outside of the centralized mode, and we started to talk with some of the traders, some of the most active clients who use our indicators. Currently, it's happening in private mode, in chat, but we try to make these questions the more relevant for our contributors and our community. So now we engage our community into these brainstorming sessions, and I can say that quite soon we're going to make a special perk for our products to give access to our clients to participate in this decision making, which questions to ask from hybrid intelligence. And our aim is to move this process to community, so that the decision will be made not internally but by the ecosystem.
That's awesome, man. So let's talk a little bit about your product suite and I guess how you're going to be expanding that. Are you going to have like kind of different platforms for these different prediction markets? Like, the other things we were talking about, like, campaigns, political, research data, stuff like that. Is it going to be, like are you going to segregate it, financial, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Is that?
Here we can look at the history where we came from. So we started 3 years ago learning the wisdom of the crowds on different segregated areas in sports, politics, art, technology, and finance. And we switched our focus and focused only on financial markets 2 years ago. And this is what makes us effective. This gets us an opportunity to be more effective, to engage exactly those people who are effective on that questions. It helps us to build necessary models and learn them. And we are going to be focused on this area for at least 1 year or more. And we're not going to spread our attention to other areas. So we are aiming to build the most effective machine for decision making and asset management. So this is all about managing resources and making decisions in these types of management.
I think that's a brilliant strategy, because a lot of these companies that I see, especially in crypto, they spread themselves so thin and they don't focus on just putting one foot in front of the other and just completing each task. And like I said, I love that you guys are already being utilized so much. And so it's really nice to hear that you're not going to be branching out until you've perfected the one area that you've decided to focus on. And how did you guys decide to go into crypto and launch an ICO and all these things instead of going that central route, going to VC funding and stuff like that?
Actually, we had the history of venture funds or venture rounds before. So we're running as a fintech startup for a bit more than 3 years already. So we did the acceleration program. We tested different business models, and so we had a number of pivots and experiments with our business model. And before the decision moving to crypto space, we were working with the hedge funds and banks, and we analyzed traditional financial markets, and we provided them with indicators. So we launched a number of trials with big players on financial market, and as the result of our trials with them was always the same. So they were always happy with the quality of the indicators, but the terms of their desires, how they were ready to agree to work with us, was only with the exclusive access to our indicators. So they all wanted to monopolize the access to the indicators, and that was a huge problem for us as a company. So we realized that working with these giant players will always move us into monopolization more than centralization more. We actually realized the reasons on that, and the reasons pretty simple, and they are fair enough. The reason is that the indicators, they have limited capacity of value that could be utilized by clients, by people. So they don't have infinite capacity, and the number of clients and actually the volume of capital that will be allocated for the strategies based on the indicators must be limited. And we realized that in the end of the game, there must be one entity that could utilize that. And we realized that we have a choice. Either that would be a central bank or a big hedge fund, or we will create that entity. And we decided that the entity could be the decentralized community and decentralized ecosystem. And we started creating this new type of entity that was pretty aligned with our understanding and our ideas on how we relate to these financial analysts who are making predictions in our ecosystem. So we were looking at them like, and we used internal words like they are mental investors. So their attention that they are investing into the ecosystem, they allocate their assets. So their intelligence is their asset, and they are bringing this asset to the ecosystem, and ecosystem is growing. So they it will be fair enough if they can expect the return on that investment. And this is the change of paradigm that is not understandable in traditional markets. And this is very, very new paradigm. And this is about the community. It's about collaboration, unity, and integrity of different people, and uniting for the shared goal and for the shared benefit of all the people. And actually, it answered. It is very aligned with the ideology, how we understand ideology of the new economy and all this crypto space. And we also had some necessary tools that we had to implement when we actually started to pay rewards before we moved to token sale, to pay rewards with dollars to our financial analysts. And we faced huge problems with making payments to 160 for a startup.
Yeah. Hey, Yuri,
and
Yuri,
also
Yuri, I was curious, you talked about instead of having like one giant client, you wanted to kind of decentralize it. So I get that. So you wanted to kind of create this model using decentralization, so then anyone can become a token holder and have access to the services. I like that. We are token holders as well. I'm just curious about the business model though, because I buy the token and stake it, but that's not really money going to you. So at some point I would think you would need to get paid for services provided. So is there at some point like stake token holders get access to services, but then you'll sell additional memberships, or is there some sort of a business model like that?
Yeah, so we have a longer roadmap ahead us. So currently we will announce a new product. I cannot say exactly how soon, but not more than in a month, quite soon. And that access product will be on the payment of our CNG tokens to the dynamic motivation tool. So we will start creating the circulation of the tokens, and this will be the source of tokens that will move to financial analysts. We will make a number of.
That's paying out to people who participate in the human intelligence piece, but are you going to be receiving revenue from like people that want to buy into the services?
Actually, that's our choice that we can do at any moment. I cannot say that we have clear decision made on that. I can say that this is an opportunity, but that's not a goal. We have, I can say, more ambitious goals, a bit higher than this one. Still, this is the option that we can.
Can you touch on the ambitious goals, man? I want to hear that high level goal, man. What's the vision?
So the vision is that we are creating the ultimate decision-making organism that will manage the resources of the ecosystem for the benefit of this ecosystem. And resources are those are attention. First of all, that is attention and intelligence. And secondary, this is monetary resources, and that is assets and capital. We have the question, and one of the main thing that we're learning our ecosystem at this moment is to utilize these indicators, the wisdom of this hybrid intelligence, how to use this indicator more effectively, how to use them in their investment strategies, and how to increase the performance of your trading. And this is another layer of collective intelligence. So we are working with the most effective and active traders and learning how to manage assets using these indicators. And actually, the way to monetize these indicators is the way to monetize the technology.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw in your white paper you talked about trading portfolio on hybrid intelligence. So you talked about like active trading based on Cindicator, signals. You talked about buy and hold portfolio assets and management there, and then even active trading of traditional assets. So I guess you're talking about the big picture is kind of those things in the white paper where really instead of just giving signals, you actually go to actively buying, holding, trading, etc.
Yeah, I can say that this is another decentralized type of fund where the assets being managed by community, by different token holders, and in the end, the goal is that we'll find a way to effectively manage resources with the intelligence of all the participants of ecosystem. There are different strategies, and some of them are buy and hold, like strategic with long positions. Some of them are manual trades with are not so short and long positions, and some of them are even algorithmic with very short positions.
Now I don't see any of that stuff available now, and the roadmap that you guys have doesn't really even hint to anything like that in 1920 or anytime like that. Is there any kind of time frame that you could give us? Is that like next year? Is that 5 years?
Yeah, it's very hard to give the timelines based on the quarters and the year, because there is lots of uncertainty in these types of strategies, and based on the experiments that we will run and the results that we will have during the next 3 or 5 or even 6 months, we will have much more clear vision for the next 3 or 5 years. And at this moment, our hypotheses are spread quite widely. So they are about. So what is the question? What are the most effective strategies? Is it better to make big focus on long-term strategic investments, or it's better to focus on 1 month's length positions, or we can focus on these intraday strategies? And they all are working. So we can say that there are some evidences that all of these 3 dimensions could be performing positively, and that we can handle all of them with our community. So we will have to decide, should we do all of them, or we should focus on 1 or 2 of these? And this is the question that we don't need to have an answer now. And based on the answer to these questions, the roadmap will dramatically change in terms of technology and products for the community. So at this moment, it would be fair enough to say that we are going to this goal, but the way in which of these directions we will get there is still in the fog. We're working on the certainty in that fog.
So can we talk a little bit more high level stuff? And I think everyone has a pretty solid understanding of Cindicator. If you don't have any Cindicator, I'd highly recommend at least getting their smallest tier bot. The indicators are awesome. If you're a trader, hop on there, start using their platform. It's really cool. I do it. For me, it's like a mobile game when I'm just sitting in bed and I'm just answering questions. I've been trading for 2 years, and it's a really cool platform. And it really makes you kind of think about different questions. So if you guys don't have Cindicator yet, make sure you check it out. From a technical aspect chart, Cindicator looks primed and ready to start moving up in value again, just from a technical aspect. So it's a good long-term value play, but also in the short term, it's also looking great. So one of the things that you guys, so I read your founder's bio, and he talks about the Isaac Asimov. As a team, are you guys all, I mean, your other company fascinates me, man. As a neuroscientist, you're pioneering brain-to-brain communication and all that stuff. Are you guys pretty like nerdy, like techie? I mean, do you guys talk about sci-fi? Are you like video gamers? I mean, tell me a little bit about your culture of Cindicator and how you got, you and your founder and stuff like that, co-founder.
Yeah, I can say that we are quite nerdy, but we are very different.
Oh, really?
So all the people are unique. And I can say that people that working in our company are really beautiful people. During the last half of a year after the token sale, we have expanded our team dramatically. So now we have more than 50 full-time employees and about 20 with something contractors teams. So it's about hundreds of people full-time working on the project. And before the token sale, we had about 15 or 17 people. So we grew up significantly. And all the people that were in the core of our company, they are mostly young. They are in between 25 and 30. I can say that many of us do like music, and many people do play some instruments. Many people are interested in practices like mindfulness practices and working with consciousness and meditations. Many people do like parties and hold pretty active position. So all people are very active. So I mean, socially.
That's awesome. So we're big fans of futuristic predictions and forecasting and stuff like that. Now, you guys quoted Elon Musk, and I know you guys are super into neurotechnology and stuff like that, and kind of pioneering nonlinear type technologies. What do you think about AI, and are you an optimist? Are you a pessimist? I know you're already using it in your company. How do we kind of manage that? I mean, even yourself, you just said our AI is evolving at a very rapid pace. And we saw, with Facebook Messenger bots, they created their own language in a couple of weeks. I mean, what do you think about just kind of big picture stuff? I mean, on that.
Yeah, I see that this is the huge threat for humanity and for all the human civilization, that we are living now in a special turning moment in our history. And this is one of the biggest threats in our destiny. But the question of relationships between human being and that emerging artificial intelligence. Actually, I don't very deeply agree with the word artificial, because I see that the emerging intelligence is pretty essential, and that is also a part of the nature, and this is a natural way of how our Earth is evolving. I can see that the relationships between us, if we differentiate us from that being, could be run in two modes. One of them when we put ourselves into a position, like human versus robots, and another one where we put ourselves into collaborative symbiotic relationships where we can strengthen and help each other. And the way how we build these relationships on the level of collective of all the humans is our choice, is our collective choice. And personally, my position and the position of my partners and our teammates is that we are responsible to build in the question of building these relationships, and we're responsible for the symbiotic relationships.
You're responsible for it, but I know you quoted Elon Musk saying that humans should merge with artificial intelligence, but he's been pretty outspoken about dangers of that. And I know you have like Zuckerberg and Bill Gates, they're kind of really for AI, but it seems like Elon Musk has been kind of against advances. So do you see some sort, you said it's important for us to kind of manage that, but is there something where there's risk where it could become unmanageable?
Yes, definitely there is a risk where it can become unmanageable, and I see that risk in the area of weapons creation. When we create this tool, like a tool for killing humans, when we learn to recognize those psychological patterns on how to find a person in a city, how to kill it, this is the danger that we should not learn it, definitely. And all the dangers are lying in that sphere. But still, there are lots of ways how to use these technologies for the benefit of humanity. There are many of them.
Absolutely. So I know that you're based in Russia. Is Cindicator based out of New York, or is it based out of Russia?
We at this moment we have 3 jurisdictions of 3 different legal entities. We have employees in 7 time zones, and we have 3 offices. One of them is in New York, one of them in Moscow, and one in St. Petersburg. The biggest one.
We're gonna be up in Consensus. Who's up in New York? I mean, would we be able to stop by the office and check it out and see what you guys?
You can meet with Mike Rusov, his CEO, and there is Ksenia. She is chief marketing officer, and I will move to New York since I think end of May or probably beginning of June. Since that time, I'll be there, I can say 60 or 70% of my time for the next couple of years.
Awesome. We're curious about Russia. We hear so much about Russia in regards to cryptocurrency, and they were very against cryptocurrency. Then it seemed like they were kind of pro cryptocurrency, and now they're kind of against it. And I know it seems like Vladimir Putin is kind of really into the technology, but then the central bank's against the cryptocurrency. How is it over there with regulations? I mean, what do you see happening and where it's at today?
Yeah, so I see that as always and as everywhere, there are different people, and there's financial institutions and governments here, and I expect that this is probably the same picture all over the world. Different people have different visions and different desires, different interests. So there are conflicts of interests in these parties, and they don't have consensus. And I see that there is no consensus in the world on this question. So some people do drive, and they encourage the development of technology. Some do afraid, and this is understandable. So, and there is no consensus. But still, I can see that there are major players that are coming from Russia, and some of them are getting integrated with institutions. So I'm more positive about this. But still, what is happening now with this game against Telegram? Yeah, I'm not sure if you've heard about this, but it is
Sure.
ridiculous.
It's the craziest thing I've ever seen, man, and it's yes. Fascinating that Telegram is still persisting. I mean, they took down AWS, Google. I mean, they took down everything, and they still couldn't stop it, man. I love it, but that's decentralization. That's why we need it.
Everybody here is not everybody, but so many people are learning what is VPN and how to use that.
Wow, that's
from that standpoint. It's like from that standpoint, it's like, oh, they're using Telegram to share information that we don't like, but it's like I can use my voice to share information you don't like. I could write those ideas down on a piece of paper. I mean, you just can't stamp that out altogether, right? At some point.
Nah, if they will restrict encryption and using VPN, I don't know if that is possible. I'm waiting when Elon Musk or when Elon Musk will send the satellites in space, and we will have the access to internet without those governmental restrictions.
I think we're all waiting for that, man. Decentralized internet. So besides Cindicator, are you still working on any other technologies kind of in your spare time? I mean, I know that like focusing on one thing for like a mind like yours is probably pretty tough. Or is there anything else? Because, you know, healthcare and neuroscience and all those things, getting it on the blockchain, that's kind of a pioneering field as well. So besides Cindicator, is there any like side projects or side hobbies you're kind of advising or helping with?
There is one project that I advise on, me personally, and that is a project called Blue Frontiers. They are aiming to build alternative communities on floating islands in the Pacific Ocean. So they are building the constructions on the water to experiment with the life on water and experiment with communities with alternative structures and collective organization and decision making.
What is that? What is the name of the company again? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Blue Frontiers. I will drop you the link.
Blue Frontiers. Blue Frontiers. Okay, awesome.
Cool.
And is that kind of like a little bit of a zeitgeist type movement? Like just eco-conscious, everybody working together, kind of harmony type?
I cannot say like no, I cannot say like that. So there is a seasteading movement. There is a seasteading institute in California, which was sponsored by Peter Thiel. There is quite a big community of different people. They are entrepreneurs, investors, innovators, startuppers. Some of them are scientists from different areas. So they are all united by this idea of running experiments, how to live on water, how to build sustainable life, use the alternative sources of energy, how to build new technologies that will work with growing food. And some of them are interested in these alternative governments and these special economic zones. So this is the place where will be a special economic zone without any taxes. So this will be the physical space where you can run online business with your currencies and not pay taxes to any country.
It looks pretty fascinating. I'm looking at the website right now. It looks pretty fascinating. It looks like they've got a token sale going on right now as well.
They currently run pre-sale. They did not start public token sale.
Okay, so it's more public right now?
It's more private now.
It's all private, pre-sale.
Got it.
I like that. It's interesting. We'll have to dig in more. You know, they're in the ocean, so they're in international water, so they really don't belong to any government. No one's claimed it. It's not an existing island. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It looks like their website's a little similar to Cindicator. I like the font.
No, it's not.
No. I'm just kidding. No, but the tech font is on the Varion website. It's a cool looking company though, man. The picture of the islands are pretty fascinating. Did you see that Saudi Arabia was launching their own little tech community, man?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Actually, it's interesting. I see that there are some initiatives are happening in the world with these experiments, and I like this approach. I like that there is a tendency that people are realizing that they need some alternatives to the governance that we have. And many people do start to understand that the governance is not answering the main challenges of humanity, and many start to understand that they are not capable to transform, and that the only way is to create, not to break something, but to create something new. And many people do start this experiment. They invest their life and they take risks to experiment, and I'm very excited with that. I'm happy that humans are so beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. Good stuff.
Well, Mark, do you have any more questions? I think we have
no, I think we got through everything. I mean, I know we kind of went a little bit long, but awesome stuff, Yuri. Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you too. Thank you, guys.
So if you guys aren't familiar, this is Cindicator. Their token is CND. It's a hybrid intelligence model for predictions. If you watch the whole interview, you got a lot of insight on it. If you have any more questions, make sure you leave it in the comment below. Follow, like, subscribe, and we'll be bringing more interviews. And when we get up to New York, we'll try and get over to the Cindicator office, maybe get an interview with your co-founder, the CEO, get a little bit of a different perspective from him. See if he's got any additional thoughts. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you taking the time, going over your platform and your program. We're huge fans of it, and we're huge fans to see how it evolves. We both have 1 million tokens. We both use it. We both love it. So thank you so much for creating an awesome project and building an awesome community and platform in the blockchain space, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you too. Have a good day. Bye.
You too. Take care.
Yeah.